back to my channel. So today I'm going to briefly talk about how I made my second short film called Homebound, which is written and produced by yours truly, but directed by an amazing documentary filmmaker. His name is Lefty Koutinas. He also goes by Your Legacy Filmmaker. So I had the privilege to have a director come on board to work with me and make this film come to life. So I'm going to share the video link down below in the description so you can go ahead and watch the film Homebound. It's just a little bit over than like 8 minutes, so hopefully you enjoy. But just to give you a little brief plot of the film, it's about a girl who falls into homelessness. It's just basically a reflection of the economy and what young people are kind of struggling with post-pandemic, and just like the cost of living. So you get an insight on the character's journey and sort of a reflection of that. But today I wanted to talk about how I made the film and some of the challenges that I went through. And one of them was locations. So the location issue was a bit of a challenge because I had just a brief scene where the character was supposed to run away from her stalker, because in the film she does get assaulted. And I needed like a dark alleyway, but in order for me to use that location, I had to get a permit because it was part of the city's. And so I said, sure, okay, let me look into that. So the permit itself wasn't the part that was challenging. It was actually the insurance, and it was way out of my budget. So I said, there's no way that I'm going to be, spend hours on this if I only need it for like less than than a minute or so. So my colleague, my friend Lefty, we were doing some location scouting, and it just so happens that on that particular weekend, it was a long weekend and it was in the summertime, and there was a fair going on. So I'm in the car with him, and he looks and there's a huge fair, and he's like, you know what? Why don't we shoot it there? And it was brilliant because it works perfectly well. It's in a public area. There's large crowds of people. So we decided to shoot the scene where my character gets attacked in the fair. And we thought it worked perfectly well because public, large crowds, it works, right? And, with the lights of the rides and everything just made it really, really cool. But one of the things that I had to deal with was, because I'm part of ACTRA, so for all my Canadian actors out there, I'm sure you know what ACTRA is. It's a union guild for performers, for actors. This was an ACTRA production, so I had to specifically put it under a certain kind of agreement where it is specifically a passion project where you only work with ACTRA performers, and you send off your script to the union, and then they have to look at it. And because there were stunts involved, like I didn't know running was a stunt. I mean, who knew? I had to get a stunt coordinator. So that was the one thing that I really had to find, was get a stunt coordinator. Her name was Stephanie Hawkins, and she was the one that was part of helping me, be prepared and making sure that I was safe on set. So she came and she brought her gear, and I had like a padding on my back, and luckily we shot it on grass. So obviously to avoid any kind of impact on concrete. But you know what? It was great. Like, we were safe, and those are just one of the little things I didn't really know. There is a stunt scene involved, so I had to get a stunt coordinator. And shooting this film, like, in retrospect, there are times where you do have to follow by the book. And then there are times when things are just out of your control, and you know what? You can just do guerrilla style filmmaking, and sometimes it works. And in this case or situation, it made sense because not only was it a large crowd of people, it was in a public area, it just worked. You have to kind of read the room a little bit and say, you know what? We can definitely pull this off, but then there are times where it's like, so we just can't go around it. We have to go by the book. We have to follow the rules. So anything to do with stunts or intimate scenes, nudity, you need to have a coordinator on set. It's very important because you also want to make sure that your actors feel safe and that they're not going to be put in vulnerable situations. So that was basically just in general what I went through and how I made the short film. I will talk about my next video briefly about how I wrote the script and the adjustments that you need to go through when you're making a film, and certain things that you need to cut out because it may not work logistically. So if you have any questions, please comment below on my video. I would love to answer your questions. It'd be great to share this space on, you know, filmmakers, and if you're starting out in your journey and what are the challenges that you're facing. I'm still also learning, so we can definitely learn together, and we can learn how we can make great films. I do have another project coming out sometime this year. I will not give it too much away. That is also with Lefty Cutinas, who's fantastic. I'm really excited. So like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.